Mahjong to each and every one of you. In today's video, I wanted to show you the updated video and recipe on how to make this very popular Vietnamese Pandan Honeycomb Cake. So this honeycomb cake is actually pretty simple in ingredients, but it can be quite challenging to achieve this honeycomb crumb. So a lot of you have been sending me tons of questions from my previous video and recipe, and I hope I can answer those questions in this video today. I've been testing a lot of different pans, the oven temperature, and how long the cake should be cooking, all the stuff, and I finally found the recipe, the oven temperature, the time that I think has been pretty consistent every time I make this cake, and I wanted to share it with all of you. So with that, let's go straight into it and I'll show you how to make it.
So let's talk about the pans that I'll be using to make this cake. I have here a 8 by 3 inch round cake pan, and this is the aluminum style cake pan, which I find to work really well for this cake because it does a really good job at allowing the cake to stick onto the pan so that when I flip it over, the cake doesn't deflate. I also love using a 9 by 3 inch round aluminum cake pan as well. This one works really good. I actually prefer using a 9 by 3 more than I do an 8 by 3. But they both work perfectly. And just for fun, I tested out some non-stick and coated cake pan. This is a Wilton 9-inch heart cake pan that is non-stick, just so that you can see how the cake looks like after it's baked. And then for the bundt cake that a lot of people love to use to make this cake, I am going to be testing this one as well. This one is a non-stick Wilton bundt cake, but they do have aluminum bundt cake pans as well, which I think will work a lot better compared to this non-stick pan. The challenge in using a aluminum bundt cake is that it might be hard to release the cake after it's cooled down, just because there's so many crevices and texture in this cake pan. For this recipe, I'm going to be using the aluminum round cake pans, and what you want to do first is place the cake pan into your oven. Preheat the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and allow the oven and the pan to heat up. While they're heating up, go ahead and make the batter. So in a pot, I like to heat up the sugar, salt, coconut milk, and pandan extract. This is the pandan flavoring that I'm using. Cook this on medium heat just until the sugar and salt dissolve. So you do not have to boil this. It should just be warm enough to dissolve the sugar and the salt. Once you feel no more grittiness on the bottom, take it off the heat and set it aside. If you end up heating this too hot, go ahead and cool it down until it has come to room temperature. So into a bowl, I'm going to be adding some medium-sized eggs. I am using 6 medium-sized eggs, which weighs about 260 grams in total. I like to use a fork to poke through the egg yolks just to loosen it up and make it a little bit easier to fold in the dry ingredients later. Do your best not to incorporate too much air into the eggs, or else your cake can have a tendency to deflate. This looks pretty good. At this point, I'm going to be adding the coconut and pandan liquid base, and then I'm going to add it in the dry ingredients. So I have a sieve over the bowl here. I'm going to add in some tapioca starch, rice flour. This is regular rice flour, not glutinous rice flour, and double acting baking powder. Sift this into the right ingredients, and with a spatula, just give this a really good stir. Be gentle with it. You just want to stir it until the dry ingredients are hydrated, and it's okay if it's chunky and lumpy. We're going to be putting this through a sieve just to get it a little bit smoother. I'm going to place a sieve over another clean bowl and just pour the batter straight in, and then using your spatula, just press the batter down so that you can get a really nice smooth batter at the very end. And then the very last thing I'm going to be adding is some melted coconut oil. You can use any neutral oil that you like, but I actually prefer melted coconut oil for the flavor. Give this a really gentle stir until the melted coconut oil is incorporated into the batter. Once it's well mixed, let the batter sit for at least 10 minutes on your counter. Letting it sit for 10 minutes allows the flour to get hydrated, and also for the leavening agent, which is the baking powder, to distribute itself into the batter. After 10 minutes, just give it a really gentle stir, and then it's going to go straight into the pan. So you can actually take the pan out and put it on your counter. I just like to pull out the rack, leave the pan there, and then pour the batter straight in. I do want to note that I didn't grease or oil spray the pan before I added the batter in. The reason why is that I want the cake to stick onto the pan as it cools upside down so that it doesn't lose its shape. And you're gonna be curious, but what if the cake sticks onto the pan and you can't get it out? You'll see later that the cake comes out pretty easy. Slide this back in, and then we're gonna cook this for about 1 hour. After an hour, the cake should be cooked. I'm going to take this out of the oven immediately and place it onto a rack upside down. I'm going to let this cool upside down on a rack for at least 1 hour before I unmold it. Cooling it upside down helps so that your cake doesn't deflate. If you use a non-stick pan, the cake has a tendency to actually come off the pan as it's flipped upside down, which causes the cake to deflate. After an hour or so of cooling, the cake is ready to unmold. So you can unmold it however you like. I actually like to use a offset spatula and just go around the edges to release the cake out of the cake pan. Once the cake is loosened, flip this over and the cake should come out pretty easily. Flip this back over, and then I'm going to be cutting this into slices. You can slice it however you like, however small or big, it's really up to you, but I'm going to be slicing this so that you can see the crumb. And this is what it looks like. This was the one that was baked on a 8 by 3 inch aluminum round cake pan at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. The honeycomb is pretty good because it is a smaller pan. This cake is a little bit on the taller side, so the honeycomb is quite on the taller side, but the honeycomb is still visible, so that's a success for me. Texture-wise, it is chewy, it's bouncy, it has a really nice subtle pandan flavor, it's coconutty and not too sweet. I do want to share with you what the cake looks like if you bake it on a 9 by 3 inch aluminum round cake pan. So I did the same recipe, same method. I cooked it at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour, and this is what it looks like. This is actually my favorite pan to use for this recipe in general. The honeycomb texture is great, is visible and texturally amazing. It's chewy, it's bouncy, it has a really nice subtle pandan flavor, it's coconutty and not too sweet. And for the heart-shaped one, which is the non-stick heart-shaped 9-inch pan, I cooked it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes, and this is what it looks like. It's not my favorite. You can tell it did deflate a little bit on the edges here. The honeycomb is still visible, but not really my favorite. It still works. The only problem with this is that because it is a non-stick pan, you can't flip it over to cool it down because the cake just slides off. So after it's done cooking, I just turn off the oven and let it sit inside the oven for about 15 minutes before I took it out to cool it in room temperature. But this is what it looks like. And for the bundt cake, I wanted to experiment this with a higher temperature oven. So I baked it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes and then another 10 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I noticed that the cake was rising way too fast. It cracked on the top. It was really uneven. It browned quite a lot. Because this is a non-stick bundt cake pan, the cake didn't really do a good job at cooling down upside down because it just slid off the pan. But if you're going to be using a aluminum bundt cake pan, it might be the better option to cool the cake upside down. Other than that, this is what it looks like. The honeycomb is okay. It's just halfway there, and you can see the cake kind of compressed a little bit here. It deflates a little bit on the edges here, and the exterior is quite golden brown. So in my opinion, the pan does matter, along with the oven temperature and how you're going to be mixing the batter also affects how the honeycomb comes out. I highly recommend using a aluminum round cake pan or any aluminum cake pan in general to make this cake so that you can have a better honeycomb structure. My favorite way to cook this was with a 9 by 3 inch aluminum round cake pan in a 325 degrees Fahrenheit oven for 1 hour. A lot of people tend to ask me, my cake tastes too eggy. I highly recommend eating the cake at room temperature. If you eat it hot, it will taste really eggy. So wait till it comes to room temperature before you enjoy this cake.
And that is it for today. I really hope this video answers a lot of the questions that you were probably curious about. If you want the full written recipe along with all of the directions, I do have the link down in the description box so that you can take a look at it. I did write all the tips and tricks in there along with all the different pans that I like and dislike to use to make this honeycomb cake and some of the changes that I made for this cake in particular. So hope you can give this one a try. Until then, I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!